Hi guys, welcome back to Seduce Me. Ooh! I fell back onto the bed and closed my eyes, trying to go back to sleep. However, something kept me awake. Why? Sorry about that slip of the finger, I guess. But I guess we're just gonna get right into it anyway, so whatever. It's too early to even be alive. I gave up and sat up, staring at the fireplace across from my bed. Still think that's a fire hazard. Um, A sigh escaped from between my lips before I threw my legs over the side of the bed. What to do at 7 a.m. in the morning? Duh. I'll choose the same route, because the other ones don't sound like they do much. Off to Grandpa's room. And look, we found something that tells us about magic. Memorized some magic, and now I'm more powerful. And then something stopped me. Myself? My grandfather? Alright, I returned to bed, feeling the weight of the morning drag under my covers to try sleeping again. I had energy, but I wanted more sleep. It was Sunday, and nothing was happening today. Come on, eyes, back to sleep. I shut my eyes and tried to slow my breathing. I looked at my phone to check the time once again. It was noon, yet it felt like I had slept for much longer. Why is time going so slowly? Magic. That's the answer to everything. I sighed, got changed into normal clothes, and went into the main hall and sat on the stairs. Sundays were very boring. However, the muffled sound of battle caught my attention. Huh? I quickly went back to the backyard in response to the noise I had heard. In the yard was all 5 of the boys practicing fighting. Sam was in the middle, with the other 4 surrounding him and throwing punches and kicks at them. Sam, being the strongest of the bunch, blocked and dodged each almost masterfully. Hey! All at once, the boys looked at me, frozen in their movements. I just stood at the doorway, staring at them after my outburst. James was the first to break away from the group, stepping towards me.
Good morning. We apologize if we woke you up.
No, it's fine. I'm awake for a while now. I'm sorry I interrupted.
It's quite all right. We needed to stop anyway. We don't want to overwork Sam.
Oh, come on, I can handle more than those pity punches.
Your mind seems grateful that we've stopped.
Shut up, Damien.
Oh crap, we should probably make some lunch. I'm sure you're starving.
Now that I think about it, I think I would really enjoy a game about, or not even a game, like a sitcom with just brothers and their shenanigans. Yeah, that'd be kind of funny. But yeah, that's just my food for thought. Oh crap, we should probably, wait, he said that. Oops. I can handle lunch if you like. You all seem to be very busy training to beat Malex. I'll take care of it today.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah, why not? I'm not useless. I know how to cook and do other stuff too.
Well, no, I wasn't insinuating.
What he means to say is that we'd be really grateful if you could make lunch today.
No problem. As I turned to the kitchen, the boys went back to training. They seemed very determined to get better and to become stronger. Might as well make lunch today. It's been a while since I cooked. Lunch wasn't particularly hard. I tried to make sandwiches. Because why not? I assembled simple ham sandwiches for all of us. After I poured some potato chips on the side of each sandwich, I felt satisfied. Who said lunch had to be cooked? I placed the food in the dining room. However, none of the boys were there by the time I brought the final dish out. I carried that dish to the main lobby, catching the boys separating into different rooms of the house. Part of me wanted to go to one in particular. The other part of me wanted to just leave them be and take the food to my room and eat it there. Maybe I could go out today while the boys focused on training. Incubi. I quickly rushed back and grabbed the second food dish before hunting down one of the boys. Library. I found James in the library, sitting in one of the comfy leather seats, reading a book. As I stepped in, James looked up at me before closing the book and standing. What are you reading?
Oh, hello.
Hey, James, I got some lunch for you.
That is very kind of you. Thank you.
James took his food and sat back down, placing the book he was reading on the table in front of him and setting the dish in his lap.
I'm sorry. I should have asked you first before exploring the house and finding this room.
It's fine, this is a library. It's not like I know anything else about this house. Huh? Oh no, you're fine. Remember, you live here too, so any room besides mine is free to be in.
Still, you're the master of the house. I should have asked.
No. It's fine, really. James nodded at me with an understanding smile before eating his food. I followed along and ate with him. Taking the open chair beside him, we ate in silence, listening to the ambience in the room. Soon, however, I began to feel a little restless. Check out the book. I put my food down on the table and lifted the book to examine it. Love and Romance, a study of intimacy. Nice one, James. James let out a small nervous cough before he stopped eating and placed his food on the table.
Demons and humans are very different when it comes to affairs of the heart. I merely wanted to try learning a little more while I had the chance. I found that while I was looking around the room and had only just begun reading.
And why? That can't be the only reason. Love is different to demons? How so? James smiled before crossing his legs, getting comfy for the small lecture he was about to give.
Love isn't just a human emotion, miss. Demons like us feel them too. In fact, incubi and succubi feel emotions the most because of our link to sexual energy. However, we don't really experience love. We know of lust and passion.
But passion drives love.
For humans, yes. For demons, it fuels our need to breed and increase the strength of our lineage as well as quells the hunger we have for sexual energy. It's very hard for us to develop feelings from passion, despite how easy it may logically seem.
You hunger for energy? I could tell I struck a nerve with James. As I mentioned the word hunger, his arm twitched, obviously wanting to do something other than remain in the armrest of his chair. He continued speaking regardless. Ooh, he's getting antsy.
Sexual energy is our natural food source and is one of two ways to keep us alive. In the abyssal planes, there are many demons to feed off of who are always willing to give their energy up, so sexual hunger is never an issue.
I can hear the urgency in your voice.
In the human world, however, we've come to realize that getting energy is a little more difficult.
Can't you just touch a human for their energy just like you all did with me?
That only gives us so much. A touch is merely a taste, while intimate sex is a banquet for us.
Okay. I guess that was true. Humans were all about sex and were probably a lot more conservative than demons, at least. It would be hard to gain sexual energy from a human without doing something to them or catching them in the right mood.
This is why we have a mind-altering ability to convince humans to give in to their desires. It's not 100% effective, but it gives us a better possibility to get what we need.
Like what Sam and Eric did? What if you don't feed on sexual energy? What's the other way to stay alive?
Food, typically. However, we're weak without actual sexual energy. Without sexual energy, we become less than human. We have no power nor moral consciousness. We basically start to become unfriendly.
Oh. Are you hungry now? James didn't reply. He simply stared at me, unable to answer. However, I could tell that he was. He was clutching the armrests tightly, digging his fingers into the leather. I gently leaned close to him from my chair and reached to brush my fingers over his hand. If you really need energy, I'll help a little. No sex, but enough to stop the hunger, okay? Once again, I was greeted with silence from James. He seemed very nervous and uncertain about what to do, now that the approval was there. He was also frozen from my touch, softly and barely twitching at the feel of my skin against his. I could feel his hands grip the armrest harder. A small feeling of boldness then ran through my body, forcing me to cover his hand completely with my own before leaning nose to nose with James in seriousness. Alter my mind if you're concerned about me. I really do want to help you out. All of a sudden, I felt something in my mind snap and ooze into the warm, fluffy feeling I felt before with Sam and Eric. I felt my body slightly heat up as James released the armrest and gently took my wrist. He gently pulled me out of my chair and onto his lap, having me straddle him with my thighs. I stared deep into his eyes, his own glowing in hunger that I never would have expected to see from him. Okay.
I won't go overboard.
It still looks like Dad. It's okay. It's okay. It's James. Before I knew it, his lips were pressed hard against mine. My head being pulled to his by his hand on the back of my neck. And gently moved my hands to his shoulders and chest, melting into his lap. And enjoying every feeling that ran through my body. I felt hot, desperate, and in need of more than just his kiss. One of my hands slid up his neck, into his hair, as James lowered his kisses to my neck, gently groaning against my skin. I couldn't help but let out a small whimper of pleasure before reaching up and covering my mouth. I didn't want the others to hear me, and I was positive neither did James. James lowered his free hand to my lower back, pulling my body against his. Damien can read minds. Okay. This is gonna be kind of awkward. I felt my energy slowly draining, causing me to cuddle closer to James' hold on me. He lowered his hand to my waist, squeezing it tightly as his tongue ravished my neck. His hand was on the back of my neck, however. Gently came around and held onto a tail of my bow. I sucked in a breath, but James didn't pull it to untie the bow. James lifted his lips from my neck and gently leaned his forehead to mine, rubbing his nose to nose with me. He was gently breathing fast, softly in the red face, and as deep into the moment as I was.
I won't go any further if you don't want me to.
I could feel the hold of his mind-altering spell fade away, but I still felt hot. Something told me that I wanted more, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if I truly did want to give him any more. I opened the opportunity and I was enjoying as much as he was. I wanted more and I was going to let him keep going. He promised not to go far, but this wasn't far enough for me. I gently leaned in and kissed him, giving him silent approval to keep going. I could feel his pull on the tail of my bow, releasing it and letting it follow his hand off from around my neck. He moved the ribbon to the empty seat before gently unbuttoning the top half of my blouse, going no longer than above my stomach. The desire in my body drove me to move the sleeves of my shirt down to my arms, escaping from it and letting the shirt hang around my belly. As he began to ravage my neck and shoulders in hot kisses, I leaned my head back and let a pleasurable sigh escape my lips. The pull in my body from him draining my energy had slowed immensely, almost completely stopping. However, James kept touching and kissing me regardless. He was full, but he was as hot as I was and kept loving on my skin and on me. I couldn't even comprehend how much time we spent making out. I was lost in the pleasure that I didn't care. Felt being sinful, but I didn't care. I loved it. His touch, his kiss, his heat. I desired it beyond anything at that moment, even as he lowered his kisses down to my chest just above my bra. My heart was beating wildly in my chest. Something about James drew me to him like a moth to a flame. I don't know if it was his aura or superiority or his gentle smile, but something made my heart quicken for him. It couldn't have been love, but it was too passionate to be lust. What was it? However, I began to feel dizzy, seeing the ceiling start to spin around wildly. Almost wildly. I gripped James' shoulders, trying to signal him to stop, but my mind faded to black before I could let out another scent. I felt good. I didn't care that I was blacked out. I felt warm, fuzzy in the darkness. I never knew indulging in that kind of passion would be that good. I now just waited to awaken, hopefully in a good way. My eyes eventually fluttered open, adjusting to the sight around me. I felt familiar silks underneath me, letting me know that I was in my bed. I slowly sat up, stretching from the tiredness that still lingered. I felt a very soft pain on my neck and shoulders as I could feel my swollen lips pulse gently and healing. However, when I looked down at my body, I saw that my shirt had been pulled back up and rebuttoned as if nothing happened between me and James. I was just missing my ribbon. Before I turned to get out of bed, though, I spotted my ribbon in the pillow beside the one I slept on. It was tied in a nice bow around a red rose and that was freshly bloomed, with a small note attached to it. I gently slipped the note from the tie and opened it to read.
I apologize for indulging myself as I did. I hope that you will not dislike me when you awaken.
I stared at the note, unbelievingly what I read. Why would I dislike it? I let it happen and I enjoyed it. It was cute, though, that to imagine him asking for forgiveness for something we both did and enjoyed. I brought the rose to my nose and gently inhaled its soft fragrance. You know, when I was younger, I was like, when I would ever watch like TVs, I'd be like, oh, roses must smell like really nice, because I saw it. But then it's really just a plant smell, unless there's supposed to be some fragrance that I'm missing. I indulged myself too, James. I looked at the time out of curiosity. The large white numbers on my phone showed 5:31 p.m. Yikes, 4 hours of being knocked out, and I still felt tired. It was Sunday, so I was allowed to sleep longer if I wanted to. The remainder of the night went surprisingly uneventful. The boys continued to train with each other, but were kind enough to stop and make me dinner. I was glad for that. Unsurprisingly, the food was perfect, but it felt a little empty without the boys to eat with me. They most likely had already eaten, but still, I felt lonely. I couldn't let it bother me. I ate and went back to my room to study and sleep. Surprisingly, I felt good going to bed that night. I felt like I could have a peaceful sleep after the previous rough nights I had. It felt good. I drifted to sleep and woke up almost flawlessly the next morning. No grogginess, no aches, perfectly energized and bright-eyed. Man, how long has it been since I've had that much good sleep? I looked to my alarm. I woke up 10 minutes before my alarm. Well, hey, I must be lucky today. Karma owed me some luck. After all I had gone through in merely a handful of days, I deserved to get some luck. Ecstatic for the day ahead, I turned off my alarms before they could ring and got dressed. However, my phone started to quickly buzz from an incoming text. Huh? Who's texting me this early?
Yo, Anderson! You're carpooling with us from now on. We're not letting you waste your money on a bus. Get ready and be at your gate at 7 stat.
I smiled. My friends were the best. I couldn't drive yet, and I didn't have a car, so it was awesome that my friends would let me carpool. I checked the time, 6:30. Perfect. I can eat some breakfast before they come. I packed my bag and carried it downstairs towards the kitchen. As I entered the dining room, I saw a plate of eggs, toast, and some bacon sitting on the table. A fresh steaming cup of coffee sat next to the plate with sugar creamer on the side. Personally, I'm not much of a coffee person, but I do like tea. And hot chocolate's always good. I walked to the table and couldn't believe what I was seeing. Who made this? As I spoke aloud, a small red note caught my attention. Have a good day, yours. My heart skipped a beat as I finished. I could tell it was from one of the boys. Maybe it was from him? I smiled before putting the note in my bag and eating up. The food was so delicious, I devoured every amazing bite. I looked at the time again. Time to go. I quickly rushed to the doors, checking myself in the passing mirror. I wasn't wanting to impress anyone, but I still needed to look decent. Before I could reach the handle of the door, however, someone took my hand. Huh? I turned to see James, who was holding my hand back, with a concerned frown on his face.
My name.
Your name?
My true name isn't James, miss. I want you to know my real name if something were to happen.
His true name? What did he mean? Why was he telling me this now? I remembered reading about a demon's name from the journal I read yesterday. If you knew a demon's true name, you could summon them to you no matter where you were or where they were. James gently pulled me to him and leaned close to whisper in my ear.
My name is Raystrow.
Raystrow. Raystrow. Remember that, Raystrow. As he said his name, I could feel it lock into my memory. Something in my head would make sure I would never forget it. James pulled away and smiled at me, despite still carrying worry in his eyes.
If you are in any danger, call my name. I promise that I'll come and help you.
I stared up at James, unable to say anything. I could only nod in response. James smiled before kissing my hand and heading into the dining room. Something told me the name would be used eventually. And right on cue, Naomi drove up to the gates with Suzu waving me down. I rushed out the door and we headed to school, talking about homework and the coming day. And we were at school. And I get tripped.
Hey, are you okay?
Who did that?
It was Lysette, aka Ashley. Ashley A.
Why, you little...
Suzu, don't!
I'm mad, but I don't think I should do anything. I should glare at her. I glared at Lysette, feeling wisps of air and magic run through my skin and veins. However, I stopped at what I had saw. I see you, Diana. Around Lysette was a dark purple aura that seemed all too familiar. It was like demon magic, but it seemed to be tamer. I slowly rose to my feet, collecting my belongings as I continued to stare at Lysette. Something was off. As I continued to look at her, the aura grew, forming a shadow behind Lysette with red-eyed-like shapes glowing from within its darkness.
Anderson, you alright?
I couldn't respond. I was entranced by a small hum in the air. I hear it too! It's creepy. It was distant, almost like an ethereal whisper you'd hear in horror games, but it was real. It sounded vaguely of a woman humming a tune I didn't recognize. Wait, let me listen. You're right, that's creepy!
Hey, are you okay?
Let's go, we'll be late for class. I suddenly felt the need to walk away, so I did. Naomi and Susie scrambled to catch up and follow at my new quickened pace. Oh,
Sheesh, Anderson,
That's
you
gonna
look
drive
like
me
you saw
crazy.
a ghost!
Are you really okay? That fall was pretty bad.
Think she saw underneath Lisette's cake face and saw the devil itself.
Yep.
Oh, Suzu, hush!
No, something was wrong with Lysette. It was more than just her being mean. That was something or someone watching over Lysette. Or they were watching me behind Lysette. What they were doing, I didn't know, but it was definitely demonic. Surprisingly, the rest of the school day went off without another incident. I went to my classes, had lunch, and was anxious to get home. As the bell rang for school to end, I felt my phone vibrate in my pocket. Huh? A text from Dad? Whoa, it's a trap.
Hey!
Nope, my dad's picking me up.
Really? Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense.
Alright,
We'll drive home together next time. Tell your dad that we've got you covered from now on.
alright. Going, listen to some music until I get kidnapped by Eris.
Hey! Don't dirty up Malex's prey!
The voice which sent a fearful shiver down my spine whispered into my ear.
You're coming with me, Miss Anderson.
I couldn't fathom what was happening, but before I knew it, I was blindfolded and my limbs were quickly tied up. I felt myself being carried somewhere and was shoved into something that echoed the interior of a bus or a van. So they have their own car or something? Isn't that... They probably think they're like some crazy band with some weird ways of dressing or something. The doors closed off and I was taken unsure where I was going and why. All I knew was that I was in trouble. All I saw was darkness. I felt numb. I was taken to a place I didn't know of. I couldn't even move my lips to scream. Sounds zipped past my ears, first of the interior of a car, then the outside, then an echoey space with whispers and cackles of people vibrating through it. However, the wrap around my eyes was eventually removed from my face, and my bonds were cut. It took a while for my eyes to adjust, but I found myself in a warehouse, surrounded by devils, including Malex, who was smirking at me. Does that say smoochie and barbecue? And something here? Drink? Think? My? MME? Mars? Sugar? Hut? And then P... Powa. Oh, Powa! Huh, that's funny. And I can't read this scribbles here.
Nicely done! I'm sure those little shits will come running to find you when they realize you didn't return to your precious little mansion. They'll search everywhere for you.
Malex walked over and set the barrel of his gun against the skin between my eyes.
It'll be so funny when they find your dead body instead.
Raystro! All of a sudden, a bright purple light engulfed the room, causing the devils around me, including Eris and Malex, to cover themselves.
What the?
Gusts of wind rushed past me, almost forcing me back. I covered my face with my arms, bracing myself and standing my ground. I tried to peek through my arms to see what was going on, but the light continued to shine brightly. As the gust slowly started to die, the light began to fade, revealing James, pointing a strange golden gun behind Malex's head. Ooh, I went over quite a bit. I guess we'll finish this up in the next episode. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. And see James